Dear Ulf, Prime Ministers, honourable members of the Parliament, ladies and gentlemen, Excellencies, it is a pleasure to return to Stockholm, and it is an honour to address the Nordic Council. Here in this chamber, you are not only Nordics, you're all Europeans. For millennia, the Nordic world has shaped our continent. Your nations have looked outward, across seas and oceans, carrying trade and knowledge to Europe. You are pioneers of democracy, from establishing the earliest parliaments to advancing women's rights. Your social market economy is embedded in the foundations of our European project. But Nordic influence extends far beyond politics. Your countries have shaped European culture in many different ways, from the haunting chords of Edvard Grieg to the infectious joy of ABBA, from the determination of the Finnish Sisu to the calming vibes of Hygge in Scandinavia, from the moral struggles of Ibsen and Strindberg to the modern drama of Borgen, and of course in the simple elegance of Nordic design that fills homes and public spaces across our continent. The Nordic touch is woven into the fabric of Europe. And Europe in turn has helped that Nordic spirit reaches the world. So my first message to you is very simple. From the bottom of my heart, tack. Yet what brings us together today is not only culture and values, but our common challenges linked to the security and prosperity of our continent. Fellow leaders, honourable members, Excellencies, you stand at the frontier of a fraying global order. Not far from here, Russian fighter jets have violated European airspace. From Oslo to Copenhagen, drones have flown over critical infrastructure. In the Baltic Sea, undersea cables have been cut. Airports and logistic hubs have been paralyzed by cyber attack. The intent is clear: to wear us down, to divide us. But the opposite is taking place. Together, Europe is responding. Nowhere is that more evident than here, in the Nordics. In Sweden and Finland, you took the bold choice of joining NATO. In Denmark, your citizens voted to join the European Union's common security and defence policy. In Iceland, you have strengthened your cooperation with the European Union. Norway has signed a new security and defence partnership with us. I know that in Sweden you have a phrase, många bäckar små. For all those who don't understand it, like me, many small streams make a mighty river. And confronted with a more dangerous world, we are learning from that wisdom. Today, Europe is stronger together. Nowhere is this clearer than in Ukraine. Putin thought he could break Ukraine's resistance in 3 days or 3 weeks. Instead, after 1,300 days, Ukraine's spirit is unbroken. And this is first and foremost because of Ukraine's courage, but also because of the unrelenting support of Europe. Your countries have shown the way. Brave Ukrainian forces fly fighter jets from Denmark, sail Swedish boats, fire Finnish artillery, use Norwegian drones, receive care in Icelandic hospitals, found refuge in the Faroe Islands. This region is famed for its solidarity. And with Ukraine, you are showing it in full force. Your countries have empowered their resistance, and I think you can take pride in it, and all of Europe thanks you for that. We all want this war to end. But a lasting peace relies on a strong and independent Ukraine. That matters for the security of our entire continent. Today, Putin still believes he can outlast us. He still thinks that, over time, Russia can achieve its aims on the battlefield. This is a clear miscalculation. A sustainable peace requires changing this miscalculation, and that is why securing long-term financial support for Ukraine is so essential. It is central to the security of all our countries, and we must also continue to raise the cost of war for Russia. Last week, we adopted the 19th package of sanctions, wide-ranging and extensive sanctions, which include measures to crack down on Russia's shadow fleet. We also welcome the announcement of the US sanctions on Russian oil companies. And we are working together towards a reparations loan based on immobilized Russian assets. This is the most effective way to sustain Ukraine's defense and its economy, and it is the clearest way to make Russia understand that time is not on their side. If needed, we are in for the long haul, and we will stand by Ukraine for as long as it takes. In this region, you have been warning us of the dangers for years. And you were right when you said that Russia is preparing for a long confrontation with Europe. They redeploy troops and build infrastructure near Finland's border. They step up their hybrid campaign across Europe. And they throw more money at their war economy, with over 40% of the federal budget and 9% of the GDP going to their military. If we want lasting peace on our continent, Europe must have the capacity to deter any further Russian aggression. Within the European Union, we have made historic progress towards building a defence union. We will mobilise up to 800 billion euros by the end of the decade to strengthen member states' defence efforts. And this is not only about spending more, it is about spending smarter and preparing together. It is about ensuring that Europe can protect every centimetre of our territory. And that is the purpose of the Defence Readiness Roadmap 2030, which I presented last week to the European Council. The roadmap is a pan-European plan built in close cooperation with NATO that sets clear objectives and measurable initiatives. It will not duplicate existing operational structures, but it will help member states to produce and procure the capabilities they need. In this roadmap, we are again learning from the Nordics. We are taking ideas pioneered here and scaling up across Europe. Take the Danish lead nation approach, used so effectively to deliver weapons to Ukraine. One nation takes the lead, others join in to create larger orders, industry scales up production. The result, production goes up, prices go down, We are now applying this model to close Europe's most critical capability gaps, from air defence to drones to electronic warfare. And to ensure that our efforts are successful, we need closer defence cooperation with all Nordic countries beyond the borders of our Union. And this is why we have signed a security and defence partnership with Norway, and talks are progressing with Iceland. Both countries can already participate directly in our safe financing mechanism for joint procurement with your European neighbours, because our industries are complementary, our security is indivisible, and our unity is our best strength. And there is another lesson that we can learn from you. Your experience shows that security is not only about armies or arsenals. It is about the strength of societies. It is about being ready, not only for the conventional threats, but for hybrid attacks, floods, pandemics, and the shock of a changing world. This principle runs through right across the Nordic regions. You know that security starts with being prepared. You see it here in Sweden with your campaign, If Crisis or War Comes, designed to inform and remind every citizen that they have a role to play. Or in Finland, where preparedness is literally built into the bedrock. I saw it with my own eyes last year when I visited the vast network of civil defence shelters beneath Helsinki. You have underground car parks that can become hospitals. You have underground sports halls that can turn into refuge within hours. And I believe that Nordic preparedness should be a model for all of Europe. That is why I asked former President Sauli Niinistö to study how we can embed these lessons at the European level. His report, published 1 year ago, was crystal clear. Europe must build a preparedness union. We must build resilience into everything we do, from stockpiling critical medicines to protecting critical infrastructure. And this is not a cost. It is an investment, because it saves lives. It minimizes costs when disaster does strike. In the Nordics, you have already known that resilience is not built in the moment of crisis, but in the calm before it. Our security depends heavily upon it. Fellow leaders, honourable members, excellencies, we are in a new era of competitive geopolitics and confrontational geoeconomics, one increasingly defined by power, whether economic, technological, or military. Europe's ability to act independently rests on our competitiveness of our economies. And this is one of the most innovative regions of the world, from renewable energy to artificial intelligence, from biotech to space. You show that Europe can lead in the industries of tomorrow. But in this new age, we have to move faster. We have to make it easier for our innovative companies to succeed. We have to invest in what makes us unique and strong. And this is why we have started a huge simplification drive. And this is why we are preparing the so-called 28th regime for innovative startups and companies. And this is why we're stepping up on removing all the bottlenecks that slow down our competitiveness, from energy prices to the need of investment and private capital. In a world where others move fast, we must move faster still. And we're working closely with you on these efforts. because we know that the Nordics are problem solvers. When others see a challenge, you see a solution. Take the existential threat of climate change and the transition that it will require. Thanks to your foresight and your early investment, we have become global leaders in the transition to clean energy and clean technologies. And that investment is paying off. Because today, the global clean transition is in full swing. Last year, more than 580 gigawatts in renewable energy capacity were added globally, a new global record for the third year in a row. Clean tech markets around the world are booming, not only in countries like Sweden and Norway, where almost all new cars are now electric. Look at the developing countries across Asia, Africa, and Latin America. The sales of electric cars have risen by 60%, 60, last year. Or look at the global market for wind turbines. It continues to rise by over 10% every single year. The overall global market for clean technology is set to triple within the next decade to more than $2 trillion. This is not just good news for the climate. It is a great economic opportunity. And your countries are already seizing it, from wind power in Denmark to carbon capture and storage in Norway, or the pioneering bioeconomy in Finland, which is already worth 26 billion euros a year. Here in Sweden, the drive for clean innovation is producing incredible results. At Linköping University, a few hundred kilometers from here, scientists have developed a sunlight-powered catalyst that increases green hydrogen production by 800%. That is incredible and amazing. And we want to work with you to strengthen this leadership in the clean tech sector even further. And this is why we're placing competitiveness at the heart of our next long-term European budget. We are creating a new competitiveness fund worth more than 500 billion euros, focused on the strategic sectors that will define the decades ahead. And more than 1/3 of the budget will go to climate and nature-related projects. This is not only protecting our incredible nature. This is about taking Europe's security and prosperity in our own hands. That's the way to go. Fellow leaders, honourable members, excellencies, nowhere are the forces of nature and geopolitics clashing with more intensity than in the Arctic. That region is warming 4 times faster than the rest of the planet. Its eternal ice, you know it, that is the protective shield of our Earth, is melting at record speed. And as the ice retreats, the Arctic is moving ever closer to the center of global geopolitics. This affects you directly, but it impacts all of us. Earlier this month, for the first time ever, a Chinese container ship has reached Europe by cutting through the Arctic. Russia is reopening Soviet-era bases and asserting control over the Northern Sea route. In response, we Europeans need a new mindset. The foundation of our approach will remain the same. A partnership of like-minded nations, united by a shared goal, a secure, sustainable, and peaceful future of the Arctic. But Europe has to be more proactive and more invested in the Arctic. And that is why we are reviewing our Arctic policy to address these new geopolitical threats. We want to strengthen our cooperation in Arctic nations and regions, from renewable energy to Earth observation, from innovation to connectivity, you just name it. We want to work even more with you to understand how climate change impacts your towns and your villages. We want to build more digital infrastructure to connect communities. All of this in close partnership with the local and indigenous populations, because their knowledge and their stewardship are invaluable. Yes, global warming brings new and dangerous risks to the Arctic, but it also brings new responsibilities and new opportunities. Take critical raw materials. Greenland alone holds 25 of the 34 critical materials that Europe needs, a treasure locked beneath ice and rock. Finland is already a world leader in producing and refining cobalt. And dear Ulf, I remember when you hosted the whole European College of Commissioners in Kiruna. The Arctic city is not only a tourist attraction with its incredible nature and the amazing ice hotel, it is also a rising economic hub, home to a space center and to vast quantities of rare earth, vital for powering electric vehicles. We want to join forces with you to create new local industries and value chain in a sustainable way, and this is the most important point, in a sustainable way. Listen to the indigenous people, listen to the local communities, bring new jobs there, to bring new jobs and breathe new life into these communities across the high north. Make no mistakes. The Arctic's economic strength is key to Europe's strategic independence. So, fellow leaders, honourable members, excellencies, for thousands of years, the people of the Arctic have lived and thrived in the world's harshest conditions. They have survived change through respect for their landscapes and nature, but also from a recognition that we need to rely on each other. And faced with a more dangerous world, we need to strengthen the bonds with those who share our values. Dear Prime Minister Axel Johansson, that was your message when I visited you in the Faroe Islands last year. And it is a message that is true for our relations with the entire Nordic world. Throughout our shared history, you have enriched our culture and made us stronger. Like the value of knowledge and wisdom stemming from Åland's strategic location. In these testing geopolitical times, we must draw closer together still. Because indeed, many streams make a mighty river. So let us make it flow even stronger for our people, for our continent, and for the generations to come. Thank you very much, and long live Europe. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Madam